Head trauma, man. This your boy Payback. Come on, man. Come on down, man. The more hits we have, man, the more smoke you gonna get.
Let the people know your name and where you're from.
Okay, my name is Benjamin Hernandez. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois.
How long you been out here, OG?
I've been out here going on almost 1 year, sir.
1 year. How did you get in the predicament that you in right now?
Well, okay, Joe, just to rewind, I was on the street since I was 8 years old. I was recruited by a gang in Illinois, Latin Kings to be exact, and one of our members had gotten seriously injured, and we chased a rival gang member all the way here to Texas when I was 17, and well, actually when I was 16, and we caught him here in Texas, and you know, we did what we needed to do, and I ended up going to, unfortunately, to state school here in Texas. And then when I got out, well, my mom and my dad divorced. My dad stayed in the Great Lakes he was in the military. My mom worked down here for the state here in Texas. So I stayed down here with her. I was gonna go back to Illinois, but I got caught up here when I was 17. And when I was 17, I got a 50-year prison sentence in 1982. And I didn't get out until I was 42. I stayed out till I was like 46. I got revoked, stayed out, got out again when I was 56. I did 10 more. I've done a total of 34 years. And the second time around, well, I was doing okay, and I had my apartment and whatnot. But I caught a case that was that had no merit. One of my narcotics, I take Vicodin, was on the seat and of my car, and it was broken up. So being that it's a narcotic, when they put it in the tube, it came out positive, and I got locked up. So what should have lasted just a couple of weeks and get out, because they got to go to the lab and say what it was, and it's prescribed to me. So what should have took a few days took 8 months, because COVID hit us real bad, and all the courts and stuff got closed. No one can do. I was stuck in the county. Well, during that time, I lost my apartment, I lost my wife, I lost my, my car, I lost everything while I was in there. So when I came out, I didn't have nothing to go to. So I've been on the streets ever since.
What steps are you taking to get back on your feet, or do you need help?
Well, yes, I really want to get back to Illinois, but it's not easy, because being in a no man's land, per se, had I been in the streets on Illinois and Chicago, Springfield, Aurora, I wouldn't have these problems, because I'm a gang member, and then, they bring us in. Here, there is a difference. I used to think that there wasn't a difference, but you know what? There is. There is a big difference between street people and people of the streets. You see, street people can be yourself, anyone here, this man, people who just like to stay on the streets, then hang with homeless and stuff. You see, they could be out here with us 4 or 5 days, but they really don't have too much to worry about, because street people, 9 times out of 10, have somewhere to go back to. They're just being rebellious at mom's house. We're running away for a week, whatnot. The people of the streets are the ones who live 24/7 in the streets, are the ones that really have to learn to survive. And if you think that just because you have been a street person like myself, staying on the streets with the gang but always going home, or whenever I got hungry, I could go home and eat and then come right back out, and you think, oh, this ain't hard. If a person doesn't think it's hard, let me tell you something, it really is. It's hard. Like, for example, this is the first train, so to speak, from a north to a south end of the city that does not have public restrooms. in the trains. There's no outhouses, no rent-a-cans. There's nowhere to drink water, you know, and a person is forced to, you know, find somewhere to urinate or do whatever, whatnot, right? Now, what strikes us funny is a policeman will want to arrest you for cussing him out, but will just cruise right by if he sees you urinating or, you know, feces, using red number 2 right there. They're just going to cruise by like it's nothing. People, you know, but you know, that's how people have to learn. On the streets, you have to, in order to survive, the people of the streets have gotten an attitude, society don't care about us anymore. So why should we care what we do? We'll quote unquote, we'll shit on their streets, we'll piss on their streets. If they don't like it, what are they going to do? What do I got to lose? But guess what? They got more to lose than I. Because if they get off the car and start something with me, I don't have nothing. I could get a pipe and break their car and do them, and they're suffering more than me. How am I going to pay? If they're not insured, how can I pay for it? They got more to lose than me. So, you know, it's kind of like, you know, people should learn how to kind of, if they don't like them, you know, because I haven't always been homeless. If they don't like the people, if they don't like homeless people, just respect them at least, because a lot of these people, believe it or not, weren't always like that. They were just like, you know, you yourself. They were people who had jobs and everything. They just, when something, whatever it was, a mental, psychological, physical collapse that they could not handle, let them here. But that doesn't mean they're not smart. That doesn't mean, you know, we have to learn where to eat, where to shower, where to drink water. You know, people of the streets, we have to know where there's water faucets at this church, this building, this house has water fountain. You know, oh, this building has an outlet to charge our phone. We could charge our phone here, we could go over there. You know, if we want to eat, well, we go start from one end, go to the missions, the churches, load up everything in the backpacks, sandwiches and canned food, so we can have our stuff for the day. It's really not easy.
So it's really survival of the fittest.
It's survival of the fittest. It is, you know. And then if we're talking right now, you know, for example, and then all of a sudden this splash of rain comes, well, you can put everything in and head to a car, right? I got to find somewhere where I'm not going to get wet. And if you think that this is a big city to where you can't stay wet, if you look down every aisle like this, you can't be in a place like this. Really, every city's fenced in where people can't go in cubby holes or nothing. You're just going from one place to another, looking for water, trying to stay out the rain, out the cold, you know, and people have to learn how to survive like that. But, you know, after a while, time, as far as on a watch, loses its value to the street people. There's no sense of time. The way I have learned to adjust as doing time, as they had told me, is forget a watch. You know your wake-up pattern every morning. You know how much daylight there's going to be when you wake up. You know at this time, when in the evening it gets cooler, the sun's coming. So you got from here to here to do this, from here to here to do that. So in the day, okay, I'm up, I'm going to go here. I don't care about the time. When I get through there, I'm going to go over here. Then I'm going to go over here. Once I'm done for the day, before you know it, the evening's coming. And I got everything done for the day. I got my food, I got everything. Just find a spot and just lay there. And
so you got to make every minute count out here.
Yes, you got to make every minute count. Because you lose 1 minute, you lose a bottle of water. You lose 1 minute, you lose the food. You know, but I will say this. The homeless cannot say that they go hungry, because there is so many people, programs, churches, families out of their own heart, who come every day, 4 or 5 times a day in cars, dishing out food, giving out, you know, at least twice a week. Domino's hands out the free pizzas, churches hands out free chicken, And the people, you know, the assemblies, the churches, they bring big old bags with Vienna sausages, canned goods, perishable foods that can go, you know. So to say they bring us hygiene, socks, you know. So to say that we're going unclothed, you know, and hungry, no.
Would be an understatement.
It would be an understatement, yes. The problem is the roof over the head for the heat and the rain. That, if it really wasn't for the elements, you know, heat, rain, snow, whatever, you know, it wouldn't be so bad. But because out here you learn to adjust. You learn to adjust, your body opens up, the pores, the sweat, you know. You learn to go a day or two without showering because you're always thinking, you ain't got time. You know, sometimes, oh, the Beacon opens, that's that place over there. That's where we go shower 5 days a week. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, well, we got to go find somewhere else. But, you know, you go to like Herman Park, way down there at midnight. That's when, way down late at night, where they have the waterfalls and stuff, you know, that's when you'll see the street people sneaking in, taking a dive, getting out, washing off real quick, splashing, getting the towel, they're taking off. Hey, hey, you know, and for when I first hit the streets, that was odd to me. I was like, man, I can't live like this, man. Man, look at what they're doing, you know? Man, and then they say panhandle. One dude said, hey, you want to know how to make a lot of money? More money than just God bless you and I'm please help me. Just put, don't judge me, with respect, buy me a beer or give me $1 on his sign, right? I said, man, I'm not going to tell these people to get me a beer or try it, it works, right? So he made me a sign, and when I got right there, I saw about the first 5 people give me that look. I said, man, I just threw the sign, man, I ain't going to do this one, man. I don't see how y'all can just sit here and let these people humiliate you with these looks. There was this homosexual, he's a cool guy, he's just only his sexual preference. That, you know, it's his private thing, but he's respectful to everybody, right? And, you know, he's up there trying to panhandle. He has to go through about every 10 cars telling him, get off the corner, faggot, and get a real job. Hey, you know, stuff like that can be really, you know, how can I say, discouraging. But I'm like, man, how can y'all just stand there and let people do that, man? Y'all ain't showered in a couple of days. How can y'all sleeping in the tents and on the corner of a street in a tent, you know? And man,
it was something new to you.
Yeah, how can and as time passed, you just start not caring no more.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, after time, you just and it's sad because, to be honest with you, it's a form of psychological. Being traumatized psychologically.
Absolutely.
It's something that you will never forget.
Absolutely.
And you cannot forget for the rest of your life. Me, hopefully I got my fiance, she lives in Wisconsin, and I do have a job interview, landscaping. As soon as I get that, my first 2 checks will go towards an apartment. And once I do that, my fiance will come from Wisconsin. She'll bring her inheritance and her business down here with her, and things will look up. But for now, you know, I can honestly say, you know, I've been surviving on the streets, and, you know, from being on the streets as a teenager, I'm 58 now. And to being on the streets at 58 is 2 totally different things.
Wow.
Being a kid to where you don't care, being an adult to where's your next meal coming from? Will I survive this night?
Wow.
Yeah, and like I said, this can be, it'll traumatize a person because you're going to see things that you've never seen before. You're going to see people using the restroom right there, people throwing up, people dying, people getting stabbed, people full of diseases. You're going to see fights. You're going to see all this kind of stuff that I hadn't seen in years, since I was a teenager on the streets of Chicago. Now, I saw a lot of things in prison, but still, there's a lot of men. Here, it's men, women, children, teenagers, runaways that don't care. You know, they just have a concept that really they don't care where they wake up in the morning, as long as they wake up. And
We always leave the people with something. Is there anything you want to tell the world?
yes, what I would like to say is, I'm not, you see, I haven't always been homeless, but I've lived amongst the homeless, and I don't plan to be homeless forever. But my experience on this year out here, hopefully a few more weeks, is that don't underestimate homeless people. They stick together. If you criticize them, cut them down, they will retaliate. And they don't have nothing to lose. As far as if you got a job, wife, kids and stuff, you know, you make one of them mad because you told him he's a loser, he stabs you, you die, you lost your family. Why? Because you wouldn't leave them alone. You don't have to like them, just respect them. And believe me when I tell you this, a lot of them are a lot smarter than you think. They have a lot to offer. They have a lot of intelligence, education. They just need that one person who will come around someday and give them that chance. And there's some who I'll say really you just need to stay away from them. You know, say just. But yes, they're smart people. They're not scary. They're good, and they're not what you think. You know, they're human beings just like everyone else. You know, just think of the worst moment in your life. Your worst moment might not be nothing if I compare it to my worst moment. But the feeling of your worst moment is the exact same feeling of my worst moment. Whether yours was getting scared by a clown and me getting shot by somebody, or just a little bubble gum scaring you and a big old bomb, whatever it was, that for the rest of your life you're going to remember that as a bad influence, as a bad incident, you're traumatized. And we all are to some degree or another. So, you know, just, you know, hey, peace and live and let live.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, sir. All right.